I can guarantee that your target audience is on Quora, but the tricky part is always making sure that we're finding enough of them. When we're building campaigns in any platform, it's very common, I do it too, to start going after the most specific targeting as possible. So when we do this in Quora, which is not a bad tactic, we might find out that their most specific targeting can have little to no volume. And nobody, again, me included, wants to spend a ton of time building campaigns to get little to nothing in return. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you should be building your Quora campaigns to still go after the deeper intent audiences, the core personas that you want to, but then carefully growing that audience and scale so you get more impressions and more volume. Hello, I'm Joe Martinez with the Pay Media Pros, and I'm here with CXL to show you how I like to expand reach with Quora ads. We can see I'm already in a particular campaign, and I have a few example ad sets already created. These are the ones we're going to talk through one by one. And I typically break out my ad sets within a campaign by the specificity of the targeting settings. We'll see what we mean, because the most specific targeting option we have is question targeting. And to research this, I actually like to go within Quora itself. So for this example, I'm just going to pretend I sell accounting software for small businesses. So it's something I can easily just type into Quora. And we see that there are a few options. In my head, if people are researching options for accounting software for small business, and that's exactly what my company does, I want to make sure that my ads are on these questions. And we can do that. I can just flat out target this page and make sure my ads show up on this page. It's extremely relevant to what I'm trying to offer. The problem is that as we get more specific within Quora, the volume goes down. And when you're on a particular question page, there are a few things that you can do to proactively research if this type of targeting is going to give you enough volume. The first thing we like to look at is the overall number of followers. 186, really not a ton. But you're going to get more information by going to the More menu, these three dots right here. And when you click on it, head down to View Question Log. You can do this for any question on Quora. It's going to give you, yes, activity history, but these stats. Still shows me the followers. The last time someone followed the question, which was 9 months ago, it's been merged with 39 other questions, and it's had about 100,000 views, which is okay. But the fact that no one has really engaged with it in 9 months is kind of a red flag for me. Either way, if you find certain questions that you like, you can always highlight the question, copy it. I'm in my question targeting ad set. Here's where you can choose question targeting, but you can literally just paste in the questions that you want and see what type of weekly impressions you may get. Now in this particular case, it says under 100. Odds are, I'm assuming, since no one has really engaged with it for 9 months, it's not going to be closer to 100. It's probably going to be closer to like 0 to 10. So depending on what industry you're in, your question targeting can have a lot more or a lot less type of impressions than others. You're just going to have to do this research yourself. However, when we work with clients that do have a wider range in terms of the products that they sell, question targeting is the most specific. We can get higher click-through rates, and we typically have better conversion rates too. So finish with your ad set. Make sure you can exclude any junk questions that you may find. Exclude your retargeting audiences, people who've already converted, maybe certain customer lists. You'll have the option. Choose your placements, whatever, and then you can update and launch. And then you'll have to go through, set up the rest of your ads, publish the campaign, and launch. In this case, I already have it created, so I'm just going to update my settings. Back at the ad set view, if we feel that question targeting won't be enough, we're not getting enough impressions, clicks, volume isn't there, then I'll start setting up my second ad set, which will be keyword targeting. For now, I'm just going to edit because we already have it created. There we see keyword targeting settings. So Quora has two match types, broad match and phrase match. I have a broad match campaign right now. And just targeting this one keyword, small business accounting software, we see my weekly impressions are now 150 to 300. Definitely more than the questions that I selected, but still not a ton. Of course, I'd probably want to research more keywords, add them there. Of course, my weekly impressions would grow. But how this differs is that instead of being on a particular question page at a time, I am targeting any user on a page, whether it's a question, an answer, an article, that includes my keywords, whether it is broad match or phrase. Clearly, broad match is going to give you more reach. So notice that the intent is a little bit different. They may not be actively researching in the moment, and also they could be a person answering questions, not necessarily someone looking to buy. You have to keep that in mind too. I would also go with this ad set, take all the questions I am targeting in my question targeting ad set and exclude them from this ad set. I'm not trying to cannibalize any of the traffic. I'm trying to keep my most specific traffic in its own, no matter how the volume is. And then you would go through, finish the rest of this, include your ads, and launch this particular ad set within your campaign. So now you would have the two ad sets, your question targeting and keyword targeting. And if you're still not hitting the volume that you'd want, that's when I would create my third set within this campaign, and that would be topic targeting. All questions within Quora are bucketed into categories or topics. So instead of handpicking questions one by one, you can look at particular topics within Quora, and that'll include every single question within those topics. Notice how we went from under 100 impressions a week with question targeting to 150 to 300 impressions a week with keywords. And then just choosing these two topics, making it very specific, I'm up to 1,000 to 1,500. It's easy enough just to type in your topics and start searching for something. I probably don't want to hit accountants because I'm trying to sell accounting software. But notice that you can still get pretty broad with topics. Let me show you. What if I just wanted to include all small businesses in here? I went from 1,500 a week to potentially 8 million impressions a week. Here's where I feel I'm getting too broad because I'm selling a specific service that may not be applicable to every small business. Also, I'm thinking about intent. Someone who's actively looking, researching, engaging with accounting topics is going to be a lot more specific. I'd rather start with my specific topics first, and then if I'm not hitting the volume that I want, create another campaign with those broader topics because I know the intent levels are going to be different. Same thing, add all your exclusions, make sure your bids are in place, create your ads, and then launch the campaign. So a lot of times this is how I structure my campaign. But now depending on what industry you're in, this may not be enough volume for you. You still may find out, especially if you're in a very niche or small type of industry, that you still might not be getting the weekly impressions that you'd want to hit. There still is one more way that you can expand using the same targeting options that we're talking about right now. And to show you that, I'm going to create a new ad set. Still have to include my location, so it lets me save it. Let's look at the keyword targeting option that we had. That was small business accounting software, 150 to 300 impressions a week. That's fine. We can expand upon that because everything that we set up before was contextual targeting. Contextual targeting is only going to focus on the people who are on those pages, on those questions at that moment. So the intent is a lot deeper. However, we can do a little bit of historical targeting if you choose the behavioral setting. Here we see most of the same targeting options with an additional option for answer history. So let's start with the most specific again, question history. I can add in the same questions that we had with contextual targeting, paste them in here, but what we're saying is, Quora, I want to target these people who've engaged with these questions within the past X amount of days, and you can change the time window. For keyword history, same thing. Paste in your same keywords, the match type still applies, letting Quora know I want to target users who've engaged with any content related to these keywords within the past X amount of days, not at the moment. And then interests, it's almost the same as topic targeting. You're going to research the same options, it's just the volume isn't necessarily the same. But let's go back to keywords. Let me type in the same keyword that we had set up for contextual targeting. With contextual targeting, when they were on that content at that moment, 150 to 300 impressions. If I'm telling Quora to target anyone on content related to this broad match keyword within the past 30 days, look at 6,000 to 15,000 weekly impressions just by showing recent interest in this content. Again, I'm going to stress this because there is a difference. Contextual targeting is going to have a much more focused intent. They're more ready to buy now because they're researching at the moment. Behavioral targeting, there's still some interest there. It's just not as specific. So the same tiered structure of targeting that I set up for contextual targeting, I would do the same in behavior, just make it its own campaign, knowing that you're going to have more impressions, more budget's going to be spent, your click-through rate is different, and since the intent is different, you may have to change up your message within your ads. So already we're creating several ad sets just talking about the same type of topic or service, and there's a few ways that we can expand reach in several ad groups within a few different campaigns. We found out that this type of structure lays a great foundation for trying to find the right audience on Quora. Start as specific as possible, and then start expanding your reach based upon intent, interest, as well as historical behavior. So that is my video on how to safely expand your reach with Quora ads. Depending on the size of the business or the industry, you may see volume right away with specific options. That's great. Just remember there are always ways that you could exclude certain traffic and expand your reach to hone in on the right audience.